So the next item is the report of the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Lapper.
Thank you, Treasurer. Just to note that the Treasurer and I have discussed the CEO's report and perhaps doing things a little differently. So in lieu of trying to wedge a very lengthy report into the end of Convocation every 6 months or so, I think the plan is that I will try to deliver a short and perhaps very focused report at each Convocation at around this time in the agenda. And so I won't be canvassing the entire operation this morning or on any particular Convocation morning, but I will focus on critical issues. And today I want to talk about Professional Regulation Division. Now, I want to do this in two parts because part of this will have to remain confidential. But I do want to give you a short update on some recent developments and then later provide a bit further elaboration on that. Most of you will know that this has been something of a focus for me this past year. And priority number one, certainly with respect to Professional Regulation Division, was to establish leadership in the division, new leadership in the division. And I'm very pleased, as the Treasurer has noted, that we've now been able to do that with bringing on Karen Mannering. And rather than have me talk about what Karen's been doing for the first couple of months, I thought it would be useful for you to actually meet and hear from Karen. She's been introduced to you by the Treasurer and you've heard a bit about her background, but I'm going to cede the stage to Karen and let Karen speak to you briefly about her first 2 months and at a very high level some of the things on which she is taking action. Later in the agenda, when we move to the in-camera portion, I'll come back up here and complete my report and talk a bit more about some other things that are ongoing. So, Karen.
So, good morning. I am delighted to join Professional Regulation at this time. The staff are a tremendous group of people, and I'm most grateful to everyone at the Law Society for being so welcoming. So I am a lawyer by training, called to the bar in 1991. I was a Crown Law Office criminal for a number of years, and most recently I was at the Ontario Securities Commission as Deputy Director of Enforcement. So we are using the opportunity of my arrival to look at processes in a fresh light. We've identified a number of opportunities for improvement, and I can tell you that we have already started actively addressing them. So what are some of the areas we're looking at? We're looking at files, and especially the backlog of files. We're looking at the timeliness of matters as they are investigated and as they are reviewed by discipline counsel prior to the matters being issued. We are looking at targets, and especially the unsustainable targets. We are looking at workloads, and some of which are, quite frankly, overwhelming, and processes, including cumbersome and inefficient processes. And why are we doing this? We are looking at our processes because we want to become more timely in our investigations, more efficient in our use of staff resources, and more responsive, therefore, to new issues facing our profession. And how are we doing this? Well, I can give you a few examples. We've already started to look at our triaging of complaints, trying to implement a more robust system as they come in. We've started to work on risk matrices to prioritize our matters. It's essential, I think, to empower staff to make decisions at every point and every step in the process. We're reducing and eliminating layers of approval. So the theme that should start to emerge here is that we're freeing up our staff's time to work on files. We're taking a holistic and policy-based approach to matters, especially those that are important to the profession. So we're creating specialized teams of investigators, embedding discipline counsel so that we can do more focused investigations. We're also trying to identify the most egregious cases, identify the cases where a discipline response is most appropriate. So another theme is to bring in discipline council earlier so that you don't have silos and that we're all working together in an efficient manner. An electronic document management system. I think it's time to come into the electronic age because that will improve our efficiencies as well. Referrals to law enforcement. I think this will be an update for you today. And we're in the process of implementing a principle-based approach to identify appropriate cases to refer to law enforcement. And of course, very importantly, is training. We need to ensure that our staff have the appropriate tools to do their jobs. So that staff and the management team reporting to the CEO, we're working closely and we've already started to make changes. We'll continue to make those changes in the next few months. We hope to identify a restructuring of the division with an implementation of that restructuring sometime in the new year. And we'll provide updates to you as necessary. So I look forward to working with all of you and most especially with the staff in Peoria. So unless there are any questions, those are my introductory remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Karen has a mandate from me to make significant changes. I think you're starting to get a flavor of the fact that she's already started that. And again, if there are questions, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, this will be continued later.
Great, thank you, Mr. Lapper. And as Mr. Lapper said, we will, at the end of the meeting, there is some items relating to the professional regulation which will be addressed in camera. So we'll have hopefully a little time to discuss that then. And as he also said, this is the report that the regular reporting of the CEO and senior staff as he sees fit is something that I have initiated, and we will see this at ongoing meetings of Convocation so that we can have updates and talk about current challenges that the organization is facing. So thank you for that, Mr. Lapper. I appreciate your cooperation in that regard.